Today we're going to talk about types of angles. So our aim for today is to be able to identify whether angles are right, acute, obtuse, straight, or reflex. And we know that we can use protractors to measure angles. We're actually going to be talking about that later. Right now I just want you to know what those terms mean and to be able to estimate whether an angle is right, acute, obtuse, straight, or reflex. So the first thing you need to know about angles is an angle can be anywhere from 0 to 300, well, 1 to 360 degrees. A 360 degree angle would be a circle. Okay? And we classify angles based on how big they are, based on how many degrees they are. These are all examples of angles that have different measurements, that are different degrees. First, let's look at a right angle. A right angle is 90 degrees. So this is an example of a right angle. We can see that it's 90 degrees. Here's some examples of right angles in real life. These bricks are set at right angles to each other. The way this girl is sitting, she's sitting at a right angle. And this thumb and this finger make right angles. One way to tell whether an angle is a right angle or not, so whether it's 90 degrees or not, is to think about a piece of paper. If a piece of paper would line up inside your angle without overlapping and without leaving a gap, you have a right angle. So this is a right angle. Acute angles are less than 90 degrees. So this is an acute angle. Think about an acute angle that we often call small things like small puppies or small children cute. So think about acute angles as being cute little angles, small angles. Here's some examples of acute angles in real life. Okay. Again, you can think about a piece of paper to help you decide whether an angle is an acute angle or not. So if I was to line up a piece of paper with one side of my pizza, one arm of my angle, and I can't see the other side of my angle, so the other side of my pizza slice, I have an acute angle. Here, I've lined up one arm of my angle with a piece of paper, and I can't see the other arm. So I've got an acute angle. Now, an obtuse angle is more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. So this is an acute angle. It's more than 90 degrees, but it's less than 180 degrees. Here's some examples of obtuse angles in real life. This here, this bit of the kite, is an obtuse angle. This part of my hanger here is an obtuse angle. And the way this staircase makes is an obtuse angle. Now, again, you can think about a piece of paper to help you decide whether or not an angle is an obtuse angle. So if I was to line up one side of my angle with the side of my piece of paper, and there's a gap, that means that I have an obtuse angle. Here, I've lined up one side of my piece of paper, and there's a gap. That means there's an obtuse angle. Now, a straight angle is 180 degrees. There's a straight angle there. Think of a straight angle just as a straight line. Here's some examples of straight angles in real life. A clock at 6 o'clock, or railway lines. Those are all straight angles. Now, a reflex angle is greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. So it's bigger than a straight line, but it's not a circle. Here's some examples of reflex angles in real life. Right here, the way this lady's back is going is a reflex angle. So we can see that it's greater than 100, the way this girl's bending, it's greater than 180 degrees, but less than 360 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to go through a few different kinds of angles with you, and you can see if you have a go trying to figure out what type of angle this is. You can pause the video if you need to. So this would be an acute angle. What about this one? This would be a right angle. What about this one? That's an obtuse angle. And what about this one? That would be a straight angle. Can you identify what kind of angle this would be? That's a reflex angle. How many angles can you find in this photo? So, for example, this here, that's an acute angle. Pause this video and have a look at the picture and see how many angles you can find. Okay? All right, boys and girls, let's see how many angles you found. Now, I'm going to point out a few. You've probably found some different angles, and that's okay. So here is an acute angle. And here's another acute angle. Oops, I didn't draw that one very well. On the other side of that acute angle is another acute angle. Now here, that's an obtuse angle. And on the other side of that one is another obtuse angle. The way this man's body, is going is a right angle. And then you may have found this angle here as being an acute angle. I can take some of these spokes and put them together to make obtuse angles, or some other ones to make acute angles. So there's lots of angles in that picture for you to find. Now, one of your activities today is to look at semaphore flag angles. Now, this is a way of holding your hands to spell out letters. So for instance, if you wanted to spell help, you would hold two flags like this, and then like this, and then like this to make a straight angle, and then like this to make a right angle. Here's some pictures of some sailors using this type of communication. Your job for your first task today is to spell out your name using this communication system. So I would spell my name, J. So I would hold my right hand straight up and my left hand straight out to make a right angle, and then E, S, and then another S. Now you can do this for a parent or a family member, and if you can, have them take a picture of you making your angles. You need to either tell your partner whether your arms are making acute angles, obtuse angles, or straight angles, or you need to write it under your pictures. Tomorrow, your activity is going to be to find angles in your environment. So, for instance, you might decide to look in your bedroom and find at least 5 examples of acute, obtuse, right, reflex, and straight angles. And then in your kitchen, you need to do at least 2 places in your environment, whether that's inside or outside. All right, boys and girls, if you are unclear about any types of angles, go back and look at this slideshow again, look at this video again. I'll also put this up as slides on Google Classroom. Good luck with your activities, and don't forget to let your teacher know if you have any questions at all.